Welcome back once again to howtocookgreatfood.com. If you haven't already, please click that button and subscribe to our channel. On the menu today, I'm going to be making some risotto. I'm going to make a white risotto or a risotto bianco, which is just a plain, straight ahead, basic version. If you wanted, you can add pumpkin, asparagus, chicken, seafood, whatever, mushrooms. Today, we're just going to show you how to do this. I really like it. It's a wonderful dish. Nicely cooked, nice and slowly, bit of stock going in and out like that, absolutely wonderful. Let's go and do it. Okay, so let's get started on this risotto. In this pan I've got about a 50-50 mix of unsalted butter and olive oil. The flame or your heat has to be really nice and low. We're not kind of rushing this, it's a slow process and you'll see what happens in the end anyway. Right, I've got some onions here. I've got finely chopped white onion, or you can use shallots, which are actually preferable. I'm also going to put in a little bit of celery, about 50% of the amount. We're going to put in a touch of salt. I'm going to get some black pepper in there. I'm going to give this a mix. Now, using a wooden spoon with a flat edge on it like that, because we need to get in all the corners, because a little bit later obviously we're going to add our rice, and this is a great utensil. Also the pan, wide open like this one, flat, so we get a nice surface area. So we're simply going to gently, very gently cook these. There's going to be a lot of stirring going on today. It's all about stirring, adding stock. Once our rice is in. But there's our rice. I mean, I'm not going to use all of that. That's our risotto rice. Now, with most rice, you'd wash the rice, but we don't want to wash this rice at all. Once you start to wash that, if you washed it, you'd start the process of it sort of releasing its starch. It's a very, very starchy type of rice. There's going to be lots of kind of information flashing up underneath or above on the screen. I'm not sure where the guys are going to put that. Just with a few tips and a little bit of information on risotto rice and how to make it. So I'm going to be back in just about 2 to 3 minutes. So as you can see, these are frying, but I'm only just starting to get a little touch of colour on them. We certainly don't want to be frying them. We're on a very lowish heat here. At this point I'm going to add some rice. So I'm going to do it by my hand. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is probably going to be enough for 2 people, maybe slightly more. Now on this same heat, what we're going to do is toast the rice. So we're just going to turn it over. What's happening now is we're getting the butter and the olive oil mix all over every grain, and this will take about 60 seconds, 90 seconds. You don't actually want to toast it in any way. It's called toasting, but you're not actually toasting it. We're just getting a little bit of our oils on there, and the heat will start to release or set off the process of the starch. Risotto rice is very, very starchy, which is, you know, all about, you know, it releasing its starch and giving us this nice creamy texture. So I would imagine that that's kind of okay. As you can see, just toasting slightly there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some white wine. In that goes. You know, sort of enough just to cover it over. If you don't drink alcohol, then you could just use some stock right now, or broth, or just plain water. Now what we're doing is on a kind of below medium, above simmer heat, we're going to stir this, and it's all about now slowly adding liquid. It will absorb a lot of the liquid, it will burn off a little bit, and then as it starts to get a little bit dry, we're going to add some more liquid, and we're going to repeat this process maybe 4 to 5 times. Now I'm using the stock which I've got right here beside me. Now you need hot stock. The stock has to be hot. If you use the cold stock or cold water, you're going to interfere with the cooking process because you're going to slow it down. You know, if you put ice cold water in now, you're going to really slow that process down. We need to be constantly at the same temperature. So using a hot stock is what you need to do. Today I'm going to be using a chicken stock, and if you want to know how to make chicken stock, there's a link on the channel. You could use a vegetable stock, a beef stock, a lamb stock. Again, there's loads of links on our channel that show you how to make those guys, or simply you could use a packet thing or one of those cube things, which, you know, I'm not a great fan of. Can you see that that's now soaked up? It's absorbed it. Which is actually, it's looking great already. Right, we're going to now go in with some stock, my chicken stock. Just about a couple of ladles at a time. Again, like that. And stirring. You don't have to stir constantly. I mean, some people do that. You don't have to, it's not like a really, I mean, you could pop off now and do something for a moment, no problem. Just keep your eye on it. What you don't want is you don't want the starch, and like I said, there's lots of starch, you can see that, sticking to the bottom of your pan. So again, I'm going to repeat this process probably, I don't know, another 3 times possibly. So that's going to, again, absorb, add some more stock. Absorb, add some more stock. See you in a couple of processes time, as they say. So as you can see, I've done this a couple of times now. We're about halfway there. This rice is swollen. Let me just show you a bit of that's the raw rice that we put in. So it's pretty much doubled in size at the moment. We want it with a little bit of bite, so it should be kind of cooked on the outside, but with a little bite in the centre, al dente as I say, or to the tooth. Let's get a little bit more of our stock in there. And again, we're going to repeat this process a couple more times. Okay, this is looking fantastic, and it's really swollen up now, really has. So I'm going to go in a couple more ladles, in fact one more as well. We're doing great here, we're doing great. Let's just cook that down. Let me have a little taste of one of these guys here. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of translucent on the outside with a hard white inside, which is called the pearl. That's what we want to kind of have a little bit of a bite to. I have to say that this stock tastes amazing, by the way. So let's go again. No need to stir vigorously, like I say, but you certainly do need to give it a stir. And I'll be back then. And just to point out, there's lots of different types of risotto rice. So yeah, check it out in your stores, but you certainly do want to be using a risotto rice in particular. There's different names. I'm going to flash a few up underneath. Arborio is the most famous, pretty much. Right, we're nearly there. I think maybe one more process, then we'll check it out. Okay, I'm really happy with this now. This is kind of done to me. This is kind of how I like it. So we've got a nice amount of liquid still in there, as you can see. Some people like it drier, some people like it wetter than that. But as you drag that, you can see it comes back in on itself like that. I always find that a bit of a good sign when it's doing that just there. And it's nice and thick and beautiful. Okay, at this stage now, I'm going to finish this off by just adding a nice piece of butter. And I've got some lovely Parmigiano, some nice Parmesan cheese. Now, of course, if you wanted, you could make one of the very famous, I'm going to turn the heat off right now, guys. One of the famous dishes, which is with mushrooms, asparagus, or pumpkin. They're pretty much the three big ones, I think. But again, there's seafood, chicken. It's endless. You can do what you like. Now, if you were going to make a chicken one or whatever, you'd cook that. You'd sort of saute the stuff. That's wonderful. You'd saute. Oh, I really like the look of that. You'd saute your onions, say, and some mushrooms or whatever. Set them aside, and then you'd kind of fold them in at this point, really. Same with your chicken or whatever. Okay, I'm going to add a lid to that. Just let that sit for about 2 to 3 minutes with the heat off. Okay, that was like 2 or 3 minutes. Let's take a look. Now, for me, that's perfect. Like I say, some people like it a little bit wetter than that. Some people like it drier. For me, that's good. You see how it's folding back in? Hope you enjoy that. Hope it's helped you in some way. Lots of love to you all. See you soon. Bye-bye.